Hi, welcome to 2013. Now, the first video that I'd like to do this year is about commercial versus classical playing, and maybe not so much versus. There just seems to be this vibe, especially in universities, where if you play in the orchestra, you don't play in the big band, and it's that sort of music. And if you play in the big band and you play jazz, well, then orchestral music it's for someone else. Now, I'd suggest that we are just trumpet players and we should play all trumpet music, or at least have an appreciation for it. Now, I had the incredible experience last year to play with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, playing lead trumpet for the movie score of West Side Story. So you've got the movie playing in the background and you're playing the music for it. And so I had the opportunity to play with Jeff Payne, one of the greatest classical trumpet players there are. And so if we're playing the orchestral stuff, I'll be listening to everything that he does. At the end of the day, playing a different style. Notes have got the beginning of a note, they've got the sustain, and they've got the ending. And then you've got the sound, which is dictated by the style that you're playing. And of course, West Side, there's a lot of different styles. So when it's more orchestral, I've got a bigger instrument with a 1.5C, the Zeno Yamaha, and the big mouthpiece for trying to match that style. And you listen and you play along. And then when it's the mambo and the lead high note stuff, I'll get onto my shoehorn and put my lead mouthpiece in, and there you go. It's a different sound, it's a different style. So I was constantly sitting there listening to this amazing trumpet section when it's the orchestral stuff, going, how is it articulated, and copying exactly what they're doing. And it's the same. I went to Sydney to play with the Sydney Symphony for a Pixar show, so we did Toy Story and Bug's Life, but then we did The Incredibles, and so I was swapping instruments there, and a guy named Dave Elton up in Sydney is an incredible trumpet player, the new principal trumpet there. When there was some really intricate classical playing, I would go, Dave, it's all yours, and it sounds amazing. And I would sit there and close my eyes and listen to the phrasing and the articulation and just sponge in the sound. So when I have to play in that style, I'll copy it and have a better understanding of how to go about it. So I would suggest these days, we've got YouTube. You can sit, in fact, my favourite YouTube clip at the moment is Bud Herseth playing the intro to Mahler 5. I can listen to that all day long, right? So you sit there and you listen and search around, or put an album on and go, what do I want to sound like? If it's an orchestral play, you may notice that there's often, and this is not always, there is no definitives for any of this, but in general you might have less of a hard articulation with the tongue. It might be a lighter tongue with more of an air attack, ooh, and the sustain might be different, the taper off. Rarely, and I say rarely, but generally you don't cut the note off with your tongue. That instant stop, where in a commercial setting you'll do that all the time. The exercises that are here and in the book aren't designed for commercial trumpet players. They're designed to get your machine working so you can cover any of the styles. So I want to be able to make sure that I'm not pinching the lip down. If you haven't seen any other videos, watch them. It's all about making sure that the air's getting through the lips and nice and responsive. The release of the air and the techniques that we work through here are about making the machine work more efficiently, about releasing air to allow the lips to relax, and how to get around different registers. As far as style goes, listen, listen, listen. Copy, record yourself. Get your phone or whatever device you have to record yourself, and then listen back. And it can be kind of brutal sometimes, but that's okay. Sit there and go, that's what I want to sound like. Listen to it back. Do I sound like that? If not, try again, try again, try again. But don't forget also, a lot of the recording devices don't pick up the real rich nuances of the trumpet sound, so it's going to sound a little brittle. But don't worry about that. When you're in a room and you hear all the harmonics and everything, it sounds a lot better. So don't be too harsh on yourself. But just listen to all styles of players. And if you want to be a concerto orchestral player, listen to as many sources of a piece or pieces that you can find and copy and learn. It's all in here. The idea of sound, this goes back to the Bill Adams approach of teaching, is you must have a vivid understanding of what you want to sound like. And if it's in here, you'll find a way to create that sound. And the best way to have this, if I wanted to learn a Lee Morgan solo, I'd listen for hours to Lee Morgan, learn the lines, learn the intricacies of the articulation and the phrasing. And then I'd record myself. Do I sound like Lee Morgan? Oh, imagine that. One day that would be great. But we keep working at it. Okay, so it's all about training this, working on the different attack, sustain, release of note. Okay, so that's my opinion on classical versus commercial playing. It shouldn't be versus. It's classical and commercial. It's trumpet playing. Check around the site if you haven't been here before. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Shoot me an email if you want a video request on any topic. We'll see how we go. Enjoy your playing, and I look forward to seeing you real soon.